Hi, I'm Paul Lasaine.
I work as a production designer at Warner Brothers Animation right now.
I brought up this painting that I did for DreamWorks Puss in Boots. And this was one of the early designs for the character Kitty Softpaws, I think was her name. Being able to paint fur, as you know, realistically is going to be super important. And as anyone knows who actually tries to paint with real paint to do something like this, it's going to take a long time. Every single one of these hairs is going to have to be painted either individually, or you're going to have to find a paintbrush that can, essentially, maybe paint 4 or 5 of them together or more. What the tablet kind of allows me to do is I can set it up so that the brush will either follow my hand like this. So these hairs are now going along with my direction of stroke. So I'll use that at times. I've got my angle set to direction. So as I'm going, it's the angle of the hairs are oriented to how my direction of stroke is. So, and I've got it rotated just off of straight. Flat would look like this. Now it's going to be completely lined up. But for these hairs on the corner, I don't want that. I want them literally lifting up off the surface. So I'll rotate that brush. So that would give me those hairs on the edge of her shoulder. Usually what I'll do is I'll go into this color dynamics and I'll bring up these jitters a little bit. Hue jitter is going to give me a little bit of color shifting. So every time it lays down a single hair, there will be a slightly different color. Hue jitter allows me to go a little warm, a little cool. Saturation does saturation. Brightness will make it so that if I go all the way up, it's going to look, it's going to look like that. That's going to be too much for this particular application. I'll use that sometimes too. Now this particular brush I've made so I can either paint going one way or the other. These brushes tend to orient to the direction. Notice that's concave on the outside right there. That's by going up, it's going to be concave. But for the other side of the arm, I want it to be convex. So basically, going up goes that way, going down will give me my convex shapes. So this particular brush is made to be, to go either direction. Some of my brushes have a gradation on them built in, and they won't do that, but this one will. So now that I've got that, I could then go in, and I would tend to do this on a separate layer, but I'm not going to today just for speed's sake. But then I could go in and do those edge treatments. So if I wanted the hair to slightly lift off, I've got, again, it's that brush that is doing that, like that kind of feathery shape. Sometimes things look a little hairy, if you're not careful, but it all comes down to the design of whatever you want. I'm going to make her hair look a little bit ragged today. And then to get the other side on this brush, I can't just flip it the other way because it'll look like the hair's going the wrong direction, which is a little bit weird. So I'm going to change that. Let's see, that's in. You always have to experiment a couple times to get it right. I never know exactly which way it's going to go. I think it's that. There we go. I lost it. That should do it. Okay. A little too much. Let's bring it down a little bit. Now I'm to that point. Then it's just really a matter of lighting it and continuing to paint. One thing that I've found that's kind of fun that you can do is sometimes I'll paint in a middle value, make the whole thing. I'm going to see if I can do that to get my lights. I mean, I could just literally grab a lighter color and just, paint it gray. I'm going to lock a layer to my previous layer so I can not go off the edge. I like that feature. But so here I'm going to spread my scattering a little bit. I've got a nice little scatter going on here. So I mean, I could call that done, depending on how far I want to take it. But there's all sorts of other fun little tricks, like let's say I wanted to get an edge lighting. Let's make that darker. So obviously I could go in and get my edge brush again. Just take that color. I'm locking it to the layer, so I'm not going to be painting off the edge using the, I can't remember the name of that feature. Clipping plane, that's what it's called. Now I can also get, by opening up my scatter, I can get essentially the effect of light just swinging around the edge of that to make it look like little hairs sticking up. You just keep opening up, spreading it out, making the spacing wider and wider. And you can make those little hairs just really look like there's just a couple of them poking up. So that's pretty much the technique. I mean, and then it's just a matter of finesse. How far you want to take it, how much time you want to spend on it. But that really is the basic look.